Ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting video for you today. Right now I'm sitting with Frank, who has a wealth of knowledge about motorhomes and has decided to own a Newell Coach right now. So Frank, how long have you been RVing for?
Since about 1976.
Wow, and so about how many RVs have you owned since then?
7.
Wow.
Maybe 8. Travel trailers, camper, motorhome, then coaches.
You have a Newell Coach now. How many Newell Coaches have you?
This is our third one. And we had 2 country coaches that were built in Oregon before they went out of business.
Okay, Affinities, Magnas?
We had a Magna, we had an Intrigue.
Very cool, very cool. Now we were talking earlier, and you started with a mid-entry Newell Coach, went to a front entry, and back to a mid-entry?
That is correct.
So
I love it.
Yeah, I want to ask you more about that, but first, why do you choose to own a Newell Coach?
We think they're built superbly. They've got a wonderful staff. The factory, the support is over the top. But Newell is just, we can't say enough good about them. We've looked at Prevost, and again, we have friends that are in the sales business selling them. We like Newell. We like the Newell product. And we like the family that Newell, the way Newell makes you feel as a customer. You feel like you're part of their family.
So when did you buy your first Newell Coach?
That's a good question. It had to have been 6-7 years ago. And we've dealt with the service department both in California and Indio and here in Miami, Oklahoma. And again, we've got to know all the people. They don't leave here. They stick around. They love their jobs.
I've noticed the same thing. I mean, a lot of people here, 20, 30 plus years. I know Newell Coach has been around for, I think, over 50 years now, I believe.
Yes.
I've been learning a lot about Newell Coaches myself recently, and I've been very intrigued with the mid-door entry. That's a huge benefit that Newell Coach offers.
Yes.
So you started with a mid-door entry, went to the front door, and then now are in a mid-door coach again?
Yes.
What are the biggest differences that you see, and why did you go back to a mid-door coach?
We have 2 little white dogs, the West Island White Terriers, and they sit on my wife's lap as I drive. Well, when we'd stop to get fuel, she would have to move with the front entry because I have to get out through the front door. Now they can sit still, and I go out through the mid-entry.
That's a great feature.
It's wonderful.
Now, livability, how long do you normally use your coach at a time?
It depends. We've got a 5-week trip coming up. We've been gone for 4 months one time. We like using it.
And where are your favorite places to take your Newell Coach?
Well, one's got to be the Grand Tetons. It's my wife's favorite place of all places. We like going to Florida. We have a lot of friends down in Florida. We're going to try Michigan. We heard there's a beautiful RV park up there. Indio, California. Motor Coach Country Club, Las Vegas. So we go any place we can.
So being a 45-foot coach, how do you find your campgrounds, and how do you...
You have a Good Sam book, and you read it, and it talks about, they rate the campgrounds for different, they have different criteria, and then one would be pets, how many pets you can have, size, big rigs. We've gotten in some places that we tore an awning off once. It's supposed to be a big rig park. Didn't work. This was an older Newell too, because the new Newells, the back tag turns with the front, and they turn really sharp.
So what year was your first Newell?
2002.
So you had an 02, started with an 02 Newell?
And then 09.
And then...
A 19.
Wow. So you've really seen 3 generations.
Yes.
Literally 3 different body styles. What's the biggest differences that you've noticed jumping from that 02 to the 09 and then the 09 to the 19?
First one is the way it drives. It's just night and day difference. I guess you might say it'd be driving like a Model A versus a Rolls Royce. It's that much difference. The turning radius is so great. The visibility, they have cameras all around this coach, so you can see the side when you go to get diesel fuel. You think that's not an issue. You turn on your camera and it shows you right when you're at the pump. So you don't have to jog, get back in, move it again, get back in.
Well, if you have to say the 3 things you like the most about your coach and Newell Coach, what are the 3 things you like the most?
Oh, that's a tough one. The beauty of it, the way it feels as a home, their service department, and when I say their service department, they also offer a 24-hour hotline. And you know, it's an automobile. It's got all these moving parts, computers and automotive and all that. Things will happen. it happens in a brand new car. And they have a 24-hour hotline. You call day or night, and they will get back to you.
And have you had to use that hotline?
We on the second coach we bought, the alternator went out. We were in Dallas, Fort Worth, at night, and they got me all the way to Arizona before they replaced the alternator by using the emergency power switch.
Really? So using that redundancy and then being able to walk you through those systems over the phone, even though the alternator had a problem, you were still able to travel all the way there, Dallas to Arizona. Wow, and that was on your '09.
Yes.
So that definitely is a testament. Just how priceless that is to be able to pick up the phone and.
It's. I just can't even begin to tell you how priceless that is.
Are you pretty mechanically inclined and technical, or what?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'd be a hazard with the rich. I can wash it. But that's about as far as I can go.
You utilize the customer service line as we were talking about.
Yes.
Do they...
They walk me through everything. They tell me, they'll have me even sometimes send them a picture of what we're looking at and then describe it to me of where I should be going. And they've never failed.
Every time you call that hotline, what's the attitude of the person on the other end of the line?
It's wonderful. We'll have, if somebody doesn't call you back in 15 minutes, you call us again, and we'll make sure they call you. And it's funny because when we got to 2019, I've talked to a lot of people that we've talked with not only here at the factory, but over the phone. Said, we haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on?
Newell Coach is at the top of the price range, so you could...
So is Prevost.
Yeah.
But, if you look at Prevost, most Prevost do not have 4 slides either. If you're going to have 1 slide, have 4. Bigger, because it gives you more living space. You can see in this coach right here, if it was brought in, it'd be much less room.
I wouldn't need to be sitting in the middle of the coach, actually, because I would be, across the room, and we couldn't both fit into the camera here.
And Newell makes all their coaches with 4 slides.
Yeah, and a lot of them are bath and a halves too, as well.
Some are 2 full baths.
Yep.
It depends on what does the buyer want.
So you think livability and living space. Now, going down the road, when all the 4 slides are in, does that affect you at all?
No. It's so easy to drive. It's night and day difference from the 2002. It really is.
Now, going from the 09 to the 17, I don't know exactly what year they started the ZF suspension, but what was there any big differences between the 09 and the 17?
You mean the 19?
I'm 19.
Yes.
I apologize.
That's
Sorry.
all right. No. Oh, there's huge differences. Huge differences.
Yeah. What are some of what are some of the things?
Well, they have. I'm not sure what it's called. They have the steering assist. So if you get in high winds, you set your steering wheel so it's harder to move it. So you're not going all over the road back and forth fighting it. The cruise control is much more accurate. Oh, geez, there's just so many things,
Yeah, just all the technology
thing.
The bigger screens on the dash.
Oh, and user-friendly. User-friendly.
If you have any advice to someone that's thinking about purchasing a Newell coach or other coaches, is there any advice that you would have for folks out there considering the RV lifestyle or considering purchasing a Newell coach?
I would recommend going to high-end RV parks and talking to some of the owners. They'll talk to you. We ran into this one lady, and I won't talk about the manufacturer. Obviously, it was at Newell, and boy, she didn't have anything nice to say about them. She shared that information. We didn't ask her. But, if people are happy, they'll tell you they're happy with a coach. And like, say, Motor Coach Country Club in Indio, boy, there's all kinds of high-end coaches there, and people will tell you.
Oh, yeah. No, they're brutally honest. That's kind of how I started my YouTube channel, was just being in the RV parks and asking different RV owners.
Absolutely.
And that was kind of what sparked all of this to happen. So
one of the things Newell does, I don't think anybody else does, for your holding tank, they only use one. Most of them use a gray and a black water, so you have 2 different tanks. They decided to mix it all together, and we've never had a problem with that. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. So you only have one hose to hook up to discharge, and
you have to dump a lot less often.
Well, not necessarily that, but when you dump both your black and your gray tank. It's all one tank.
Just easy.
Just ease.
Yeah. Now, do you always stay in resorts, or do you ever dry camp in your Newell?
We're not dry camp.
You like the resorts?
We like the resorts.
I understand.
We like the resorts.
I understand. Now, you'd mentioned a couple, Motor Coach Country Club.
In Indio.
In Indio.
And then Las Vegas Motor Coach in Las Vegas. Pismo Coast Village is a great place to stay in Pismo Beach, California. Up in Gilroy, Morgan Hill, there's Coyote Creek. Is a very nice RV spot. Go down to Southern California, Newport Beach area. There's some beautiful spots right on the ocean. We have not been to the one in Michigan, and we're going up there this coming August. We hear it's beautiful.
Hearthside Grove?
Yes, yes. There's a couple of them in the Indio area, and I'm trying to blank.
Desert Shores and
Desert
outdoor
Shores
resorts
is one, and then there's one in Palm Springs.
Emerald?
Emerald Desert.
Yes, sir.
That's a very nice place too.
Power of the Newell Coach, the 605. This is a much heavier coach than any other coach on the market. How does that...
It responds very well. Better than any of our other coaches did.
Yeah.
And this is our first coach we've had the DEF system with it, for the diesel override or whatever it's for. And that's a different animal, but it seems to be fine.
Yeah. Now, your '09, did that have the steerable tag axle as well?
Not like this one.
What's the big difference between the '09 and the 19 as far as a steerable tag? Yeah.
Potential spam. Certainly the drivability and turnability of the coach. It turns, I think, 16 feet sharper.
Wow.
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. And it's a big deal when you're driving these big ones.
So in your 40 plus years of RVing, is there any advice that you would have for folks that are considering just getting into RVing?
Pay attention. Pay attention when you're driving these. They're big. You're not a trucker. Give respect to people out there on the highway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In the last several years of Newell Coach ownership, I've got to ask, what's the biggest problem that you've had with all of your coaches?
Let me think of that one a second. I'm sorry, I'm not...
That's good that it's taken you a second.
No, I mean, the biggest... sometimes things can be a little... We get too advanced for things. They got the air compressor for your doors. They're all pneumatic doors. They have 2 compressors. And you're supposed to change them periodically, and once in a while one will go out, and you don't realize it, and then you have to manually release a door. I'm trying to think. The '09 we had more issues, but that was a different animal, and so that's not a fair analysis to make on that one. But I got to tell you, we've had this current coach since August, and the wife and I are both so ecstatic about it.
Yeah, so with your 19, you've owned it now for about going on 9 months or so, something like that. What's the worst experience and the best experience just with your 19 Newell Coach?
Certainly turning. Turning has got to be the best. Worst experience? Probably some stupidity on my part. But
little learning curve.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, how many times do you think you've called Newell Coach over the years? How many times have you used their 24 since your 02? How many times have you called that customer service hotline?
Well, let me put it this way. We called it a lot for the 09. This one I've yet to call.
Really?
And we've already gone over 6,000 miles.
Wow.
So I mean, nothing.
Yeah, wow, that says a lot. What kind of fuel mileage do you get in your Newell Coach?
About 6.5 miles a gallon.
Really, 6.5, even though it's...
That surprises me. I thought it'd be less.
Wow, yeah, the big 605,
yeah.
and I think it's like 55,000 pounds or somewhere in there. So, wow, that's impressive numbers. Now,
you didn't buy it for fuel mileage.
No, sir, no, sir. What do you think your 0 to 60 times are in this?
I don't know.
Compared to your country coach... I mean, they haven't built the country coach in 10 years, so it's apples to oranges, but yeah, even longer than that. How fast is it compared to the country coach?
Oh,
boy, the Magnas were rockets. They were lighter.
It was, but it's been so long. And country coach, we love them. I mean, and that was a family deal too, with Bob Lee and his family and all the people up there. But times change. Nothing's forever.
Yeah,
and I think Carl and Alice have done a wonderful job trying to keep this company the way it is, and certainly with Pat and and Becky and the rest of the staff.
Yeah, yeah. If your wife were here today, what do you think she would say about what does she like the most or dislike the most about Newell Coach ownership?
She loves it. She loves this new one more so than she loved any of the other ones. And especially with the mid-entry, and you know, it's a whole different animal when you walk in and say you come in with some groceries. You're right there in your kitchen. You're not going through the dining or the living room and everything else.
Yeah, no, that's a huge.
And then
advantage.
we also upgraded to a bath and a half. We didn't have that before, so that's really big.
Yeah, I bet. And the dogs like.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah,
They love it.
Well, Frank, can't thank you enough for taking the time to share with me and the folks on YouTube some incredible wisdom. I appreciate all of you out there on YouTube liking these videos and subscribing to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Thanks.